Quan Bray, one of the wide receivers, is also back there with him, and the Lou Groza Award winner, Roberto Aguayo of Florida State, puts the ball on the tee as the smoke clears, and we get ready. Game on. Bray is told to stay right there. And here to help us introduce Auburn's starting quarterback is 2010 Heisman Trophy winner Cam Newton.
Today I'm introducing a fellow Georgia boy and a bona fide playmaker, Auburn's quarterback, Nick Marshall, who's accounted for 23 touchdowns and also is 5-1 versus ranked team and will have a big impact in today's game. War Eagle!
And of course, Cam and the Tigers won the 2011 BCS National Championship, and Cam getting ready right now for the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL playoffs. Carolina will be at home, and here we go in the BCS championship. Marshall with the read option, hands it to Mason on the first down, and they gash a big hole against the Noles. So on the first play of this game, Auburn does answer the question, Herbie, are they going to be able to move it? And here comes that no huddle, hurry up look. Lewis in motion, and again it is Mason, and this time he's stopped by Kelvin Smith.
Big part of what Auburn wants to do is stretch this Florida State defense sideline to sideline and try to make them identify this jet sweep motion that they'll see so much. It's assignment football defending Auburn, and the trigger man, Nick Marshall, holds the key tonight to having Auburn having a big night offensively, not just running, but decision-making on those reads.
Mason in the backfield gets it again. 3 consecutive carries, and this is going to bring up a 3rd and long. And now we will answer our first question as to whether or not Malzahn in this situation is going to put it up or is going to stick with this relentless ground game.
3rd down, a big part of tonight's game. Gus Malzahn and Auburn want to stay in that 3rd to 3, 3rd and 4 range. In fact, they're one of the best teams in the country at 3rd and 3 or less. You get to 3rd and 4 and higher, it's a much different story.
So we have our initial timeout of the game, and facing a 3rd and 7, it is Auburn showing some early jitters here on the first series.
And a good call here by Gus Malzahn with all the jitters and all the buildup and hype of this game. You get to your first 3rd down, you don't want to make a crucial mistake that could cost you here. It's imperative that Auburn needs to get off to a great start. Florida State has dominated most of their opponents in the first quarter, and this is a big, even though it's early in this game, I think Gus Malzahn recognizing, you know, it's one thing to try to convert, it's another thing to avoid a disastrous play.
Leading receiver is number 18, Sammy Coates from Leroy, Alabama, number 18. He has been the preferred target of Nick Marshall, averaging better than 20 yards a catch when they get it to him. And tonight he's operating against perhaps the best secondary in the country, a secondary that has intercepted 25 passes. Also in that backfield now is Corey Grant has checked in. Play action. Deep, wide open, and dropped at the 30-yard line by Ricardo Lewis. He was wide open on the secondary bust by the Noles.
And you can see miscommunication right here with Terrence Brooks. He and Kelvin Smith are covering the same man, and prior to the snap, Kelvin Smith is turning to Terrence Brooks and trying to get him out on the outside over the slot receiver. Nobody recovers Lewis, and I don't know if he just short on the ball or what, but he misses a wide open receiver and a touchdown. He did the same thing in the Iron Bowl against Alabama on the first series with an open receiver.
Kenny Shaw awaits Stephen Clark's punt. Fair catch. At about the 23-yard line. Well, here to help us introduce Florida State starting quarterback is 2000 Heisman Trophy winner Chris Winkie.
The starting quarterback for the Seminoles tonight is Jameis Winston from Bessemer, Alabama. He's the 2013 Heisman Trophy winner and looking to become the first freshman starting quarterback to lead his team to a national championship in the BCS era. Happy birthday, Jameis, and go Noles.
Jameis turns 20 years old today. Winkie led the Noles to a national championship at the end of the '99 season. He beat Michael Vick and Virginia Tech in New Orleans. Bobby Bowden's second national championship, and it was something that night. Dante Freeman busts to daylight to the 45-yard line on their first possession. 22 yards for Devontae.
Watch Trey Jackson, 54, climb up to the linebacker on McKenzie. Does a great job there as far as climbing up to that second level. Florida State's confident in their offensive line and what they can do running the football against an undersized front seven from Auburn.
Jameis snaps off his first pass to Green for still another first down, and they barge into Auburn territory. Chris Davis making the stop.
Chris Davis going soft in coverage, and Jameis Winston recognizing that. In fact, Davis in his back pedal loses his footing. This is something they've got to be able to defend underneath with Kenny Shaw and also Rashad Green. In space, they're very, very dangerous.
The Noles empty the backfield. Jimbo Fisher calling the plays. Jonathan Mincy with a fine play defensively for Auburn on that first down.
And I think Jameis Winston very fortunate. He threw this football behind his intended receiver. And Mincy does a good job of jumping it. In fact, could have come up with an interception. It should have come up with an interception. That ball did not touch the hands there of Green at all. And they may have surprised him. Ellis Johnson is going to mix up coverages as much as he can to try to confuse the young quarterback. Now they're playing a little bit more press here on this play.
Shaw is short of the 40. That's a loss, and Jermaine Whitehead with a fine stop for Auburn.
Very clear that Ellis Johnson and Auburn, they want to try to mix things up, and you have to do anything you can to disrupt the timing of Winston and this talented group of wide receivers. When you pressure him and blitz him, he's been effective this year, so you cannot show what you're going to do and tip your hand. You've got to show one thing, disguise, and get him to another. They've got to do a good job of trying to confuse him, see if he can put the ball into coverage.
Wilder is the running back right to Winston's left. They show blitz, and there's a penalty flag on it.
I think the right guard may have moved there, Brent.
Full start. Offense number 54. 5-yard penalty, still down.
That's who it was, Herbie. Trey Jackson.
Yeah, I think he was affected by Auburn showing some pressure here right there. I think he starts to get a little bit nervous because he knows what's coming there. And again, going back to what Ellis Johnson wants to do, disguise things, show press, try to get not only Jameis Winston off balance, but also that offensive line.
3rd and 16 with O'Leary on the field, a dangerous receiver. He stays in the block, however, and Winston throws downfield wide open. Is Green and out of bounds. First down as the defensive back appeared to go down on the play.
Yeah, not the same defensive back dropped, and it was Chris Davis. Good job by Florida State here on 3rd down. This is a big question. Could they protect Winston? You can see a wide open Rashad Green, but watch Davis here. He's dropping back, changes direction, goes down again. The second time on this series alone that Chris Davis has lost his footing, and he may want to change his cleats.
Carlos Williams checks in as the tailback, and he'll get the carry here. Breaks that first tackle, and he is down at about the 16-yard line, so this will be 2nd down.
This is where you get into the red zone. Florida State, #1 in the country. They're 97% effective in the red zone and 3rd in the nation, converting 79% getting touchdowns. The reason they're so good is the decision-making from Winston, but he's got some great targets. #1, who'll be up at the top of your screen, Kelvin Benjamin. If they leave him one-on-one, he's actually going to be at the slot up at the top. They leave him one-on-one, they'll try to get him the ball. Also, Nick O'Leary is very dangerous in this area as well.
Winston, end zone, a little too high that time. And it will be 3rd down. Chris Davis with coverage in the end zone that time, but Winston threw it high, and he tends to throw it high. Remember what we told you about Benjamin, folks. He is 6'6". That is the target, and sometimes you think in watching Winston that he thinks Benjamin is always the receiver.
And when you double, if this see on this third down, if they have a corner and a safety over the top to take away Benjamin as a threat, if they do that, obviously the receivers on the other side have got to make a play, or it can open things up into the interior of that defense.
Freeman is in as the running back. He slips out as a safety valve. Winston keeps it, nowhere to go. Fourth down, and Auburn forces Florida State to settle for a field goal attempt. And that was a heck of a play by Nosa Igwe.
And D. Ford and Carl Lawson, these guys on the outside have got to be factors tonight in making Winston step up. I think he was confused here because they showed pressure again, going back to mixing it up. They showed pressure, and then the linebacker, Chris Frost, dropped right at the snap, took away one of his underneath routes. He had no one to throw the ball to.
Aguayo, 19 of 20, make it 20 of 21 on the year. The Lou Groza Award winner puts the Noles up 3-0. But Florida State was stopped from scoring a touchdown in the red zone, and that's a story. Watch this sack down.
What makes something smart? We're led to believe that the more technology, the better it must be. But shouldn't smart make life simple? More stunning. More human. Because smart is thinking about what's on the other side of the screen as much as what's inside it. Introducing the ultra-intuitive M-Series Smart TV from Vizio. It's beautifully simple.
I'm your son. And as you well know, I can barely focus on one thing at a time. So between mowing the lawn and football, I choose football. Sorry, Robert. $5 doesn't buy my undivided attention. And if you've got cut rate insurance, you might end up with a financial buzz cut. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere, so get an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
The Wright brothers started in a garage. Amazon started in a garage. Hewlett-Packard and Disney both started in garages. Mattel started in a garage. The Ramones started in a garage. My point? You never know what kind of greatness can come out of an American garage. Introducing the 2014 Motor Trend Car of the Year, the all-new Cadillac CTS. Ain't garages great?
So what's better, bigger or smaller?
Bigger!
Now, let's say a friend invites you over and they have a really big, really fun pool. And then another friend invites you over who has a much smaller, less fun pool. Which pool would you rather go to?
Does the big pool have piranhas?
I believe so.
Does it have a dinosaur that can turn into a robot and chop the water like a karate ninja?
Yeah. Why would it not?
It's not complicated. Bigger is better, and AT&T now covers more than 99% of all Americans.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
Welcome back to the Rose Bowl and the Vizio BCS National Championship. Florida State settles for a field goal. And Trey Mason goes back deep again with Bray. Let's check that now. Chris Davis has come in as a return man. So Chris Davis is a hero that everyone in Auburn certainly remembers. The young man who ran 109 yards with a missed field goal against Alabama. This is Bray. Bray will come out. 10 and stumbles down at the 21.
You go back to that last play that they missed on the home run. It was out of a timeout, a quick huddle. Florida State, look at Florida State's defense. This is part of defending Auburn, is getting on the same page. They were confused, not just by the play action, but really by the alignment in the quick huddle by Gus Malzahn. He disguised it and hit it from the sideline. They came onto the field late. They huddled quickly. Florida State was trying to communicate. That is the game within the game tonight between Jeremy Pruitt, the defensive coordinator from Florida State, and Gus Malzahn and Nick Marshall in this Auburn offense.
So from the 22-yard line, the toss play to Mason, trying to get the edge. And Mason out to the 30-yard line. Brooks with the stop. One thing is sure, Herbie, I think you agree with this. Auburn is the best team Florida State has played this year.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about Clemson on the road in Death Valley, but they dismantled them that night. And I think this game now, because of what Auburn can do on offense and how they can attack you in so many different ways, I would agree with that.
Not much doing there on that second down. This will be 3rd and short.
I think one of the things when you face tempo and you face this attack, when they do so many different things, is maintaining your edge. The personality of Florida State is being aggressive, blitzing. You can't get on your heels because of the tempo. You've got to take the fight to them and not let them dictate things to you. So many of their opponents in the SEC this year got on their heels. That's what Florida State's trying to avoid tonight, maintaining that aggressiveness.
Again, Mason battling for the first down. The offensive line for Auburn, very physical. Robinson is the left tackle. He'll play Sunday football.
Watch that line. Telvin Smith actually slips through, but that defensive line led by Goldman that time came up with a play, but give Auburn credit. Just enough there to pick up the first down, and here comes the tempo.
Marshall checking the sideline with the coaches. Has the change delivered to the offensive line. Deflected quick throw to the outside, and it is complete at the 39-yard line to Coates.
And Nick Marshall looking over to get confirmation. This is one of those offenses we have a lot of moving parts. At the end of the day, the guy in the visor is making the call. He's getting his formations in. This time it's a quick huddle. They call these the fire alarm. See how close they are to the football? Watch how quick the offensive line will break out of that huddle and how quickly they're going to try to get this ball snapped before Florida State can adjust.
Marshall steps away from Edwards, but not the second time. And the team has a penalty flag thrown on top of it. This could be intentional grounding. I don't think he got it back to the line of scrimmage.
Offense number 14. Lost it down at the start of the foul. Third down.
It was a relentless pursuit of Edwards.
Yeah, they are getting in there quickly. Boy, Mario Edwards has had a great year. He's relentless in his pass rush, and clearly this was a intentional grounding. Nobody picked up Mario Edwards. I thought he might recognize Corey Grant in the left flat. He was wide open, would have picked up easily a first down. He didn't pull the trigger. He kept the play alive, and eventually Edwards got home.
Third and 14 as a result of that penalty. Straight down the middle, grab for a first down at the 45 of Florida State by freshman Marcus Davis from Delray Beach, Florida.
Wow, he does an excellent job here of getting separation from Nate Andrews, who is playing middle linebacker. He throws that football with such a nice touch, but at the same time with enough velocity to squeeze it in there. What a throw.
Big conversion. Mason. And he is swallowed by the right side of the Noles defense, but not before he picks up 4 yards. So that makes it 2nd and 6. And Auburn in this up-tempo offense ready to go again. Prosh is the fullback. And he's a good one. Here comes Mason. And I checked that. That was Marshall keeping the ball. And so Marshall did not hand it off. And he crosses the 40-yard line. Andrews stops it.
You and I have to stay on our toes, too, tonight, not just Florida State's defense.
You know what I'm happy of, Herbie, is that Auburn's wearing the white because it contrasts with that football a little bit more. And I think the linebackers at Florida State are pretty happy about that also.
Look up here, nobody covering the slot receiver at the top.
Mason goes incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down. There was pressure by P.J. Williams off the corner that time.
They are bringing the heat on Nick Marshall. They're bringing a lot of pressure, and especially when they get you to 3rd down. That's been the way Florida State has played defense all year. See the pressure coming from the left. They disguised it well. The offensive line slid to the right. It left Trey Mason back there to pick up 2 men. Can't pick up 2 men, and they had nothing to do there but to throw it away. If Auburn continues to be in 3rd and medium to 3rd and long, they will struggle tonight against this Noles defense.
Always stay alert against Auburn. They're into Florida State territory with the 4th down, and they're going to go ahead and boom it. And this ball backs up on the 1-yard line. What a punt by Stephen Clark from Kansas City. He backed it up. Now watch this, the reverse spin. And the young man did his job.
Your mama's got nothing on me. Your daddy's got nothing on me.
Why would you ever need to eat nachos on the go? Let's say her parents came home early. That's one reason. The new grilled stuffed nacho for $1.29 at Taco Bell. Everything you love about nachos grilled up in an all-new way. Take the nachos and run.
We're now in the approach phase. Everything looking good. Velocity 1,200 feet per second. You're looking great, Dingle. Capacity. Still looking very good. 1,400 feet.
Funny thing happens when you shoot for the moon.
That's affirmative.
You get there.
You're a go for landing, over.
The all-new Cadillac CTS, the 2014 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
I need 2 more for table 12.
No problem.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Win the greatest weekend ever. You, Dale Jr., 3 friends, pit passes for 2 Darlington races. Junior's Lake House. Who's there? Casey Kane. Barbecue ribs. Extra sauce. Napkins, please. Bass fishing. Bonfires. Pool toys. Break time. Crazy stuff. Maybe some real crazy stuff. Okay, maybe not.
Text BBQ to 47328 for your chance to win the greatest weekend ever. Plus a Chevy Silverado. Great clips. It's going to be great.
The 2014 Vizio BCS National Championship is brought to you by Vizio Fandemonium. Go to VizioFanZone.com and outshout your rival to push your team to victory. Cadillac. Allstate. Are you in good hands? Great clips. It's gonna be great. And Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mott's.
BCS photos for the first 4 championships. Peter Warwick, star for the Noles, and Bobby Bowden down in New Orleans. Wilder now the running back. Coming out from their own 2-yard line. Winston's going to fire it incomplete. And it is 2nd down and 10. And if Davis changed his shoes, he was all over the receiver.
At that time, Chris Davis with better footing. Much better job there that time of getting after the underneath routes. Again, Auburn doing a good job. They got to consider that last possession a win, holding Winston and the Noles to a field goal down in the red zone.
With the noise down there, Winston has moved up under center. Takes a direct snap, and Wilder is stuffed by the middle of Auburn's defense. This brings up 3rd and long, and it's danger time.
Look at the linebackers attacking downhill. This is what they've got to be able to do, not let the guards and the center climb up to the 2nd level. Obviously pinned back into their own territory. Pretty good idea what Winston might be doing under center. They attack downhill, and they get him now to 3rd down and long. And this is where D Ford 30 and Carl Lawson, the true freshman, the 2 defensive ends, are going to try to get after Jameis Winston.
Abram off of Jimbo Fisher's bench to help protect. Auburn determined to get heat on the Heisman Trophy winner. Snaps it off. Benjamin incomplete. It's 3 and out, and Mincy with coverage on the 6'6" Benjamin.
The best thing that Mincy does here is he has eyes on the football. He's anticipating. He bails from his press coverage. Look at his eyes. From the word go, he had his eyes turned and looking at Jameis Winston. The reason that's important on 3rd down is he knows when he needs to break on the football. It's a mismatch with size. He's only 5'10" against 6'5", but he broke on the ball early and made the play.
Jason Beatty from his end zone. Chris Davis awaits. He's got to return. Up the middle, up the gut. To the 24-yard line where it's 1st and 10. And Auburn within striking distance.
And Brett, let's go back to the punt by Stephen Clark, who pinned him inside the 1-yard line. That is why Auburn right now has an opportunity to score.
You're watching the Vizio BCS National Championship on ESPN.
A man in his truck, and some company, and 5 hard landings, and 8 sore vertebrae, and 1 bruised tailbone, and 3 hours to make it all blissfully melt away. The all-new Chevy Silverado. There's no quieter full-size pickup. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Start with a new Surface, complete with Office, then add a keyboard. Try the 2-in-1 that's both a laptop and a tablet. Or the lightweight all-in-one you can even take with you. There's the phone with 41 megapixels and reinvented zoom. And the 8-inch Windows tablet with up to 14 hours of battery life. All of these amazing devices come with the same incredible experience. That's the new Windows. One experience on every device for everything in your life.
When the cable company keeps you on hold, you feel trapped. When you feel trapped, you need to feel free. When you need to feel free, you try hang gliding. When you try hang gliding, you crash into things. When you crash into things, the grid goes down. When the grid goes down, crime goes up. And when crime goes up, your dad gets punched over a can of soup. Don't have your dad get punched over a can of soup. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Practicing the fundamentals. That's the key to success. At Northwestern Mutual, we focus on proven principles, facing challenges together to help reach your financial goals.
Area coverage provided by Goodyear. Game-changing, superior performance when it counts. Goodyear, more driven. 3-0, Florida State with the lead. And Auburn with outstanding field position after that punt return. They show the direct snap and off to Lewis on the outside, and he is out of bounds.
Brett, they lined up Greg Robinson, one of the best left tackles in football, out wide with the receivers trying to give him a better blocker. Again, one of these little wrinkles from the Auburn offense.
2nd down and 8. Mason dancing to the 19-yard line, and Brooks again.
That battle up front is getting physical. Mario Edwards that time went right through Greg Robinson, just ran him over, trying to set the tone for the Noles. But this is where Auburn and Gus Malzahn, this is where they want to be. It's still 3rd and 5, but it gives them the option of running what they like to do in their run game, but also possibility of the play action. It makes Florida State have to think about that.
Marshall fires again for another 1st down at the 13-yard line. Uzama Makes his first catch of the game. C.J. Uzomah.
Bringing pressure on the inside, and Kelvin Smith is soft enough on third down. An easy throw, get it out quick, right over top of the blitz, and Kelvin Smith deep enough that makes that throw much easier for Marshall.
There is a big surprise in this game. Auburn has come to throw the football. Marshall is 4 of 6 for 41 yards here in the early going. Now he keeps it. Broke the first tackle and still going to about the 12-yard line. Marshall, of course, an outstanding athlete if you go back to his days at Georgia as a defensive back. And then, of course, got into some trouble, so he was kicked off the team. Went to a junior college back in Kansas. Gus Malzahn came as the head coach, and he was looking for someone like Cam Newton to run this attack. And the young man had paid his dues and was doing well. He brought him on board, and here he is tonight with a 2nd down and 9. End zone, incomplete. That was a jump ball, and Ronald Darby, to find nickelback for the Noles, was all over it.
I think Sammy Coates got some separation from Darby. The ball just is late. And with the ball being late, it gives Darby enough time to come back to the football. Coates initially gets behind him, but you see the ball is thrown back, and Darby is easily able to locate the football and just knock it down.
Malzahn calling the play after seeing the personnel and what Florida State had on the field. Drops it off to Mason. End zone, our first touchdown. Trey Mason hits pay dirt for Auburn. They will show 2. Now they will switch back into their regular kicking formation, and this is Cody Parkey who will kick this. He's a young man from Jupiter, Florida. Broke all the high school records down in that town, not far from West Palm Beach. And Parkey nails the extra point. It was 3rd and 9, Herbie.
Yeah, they capitalized on Florida State. Kelvin Smith in the middle of the screen goes over to the right with Jay Prosh. It left nobody back to the left. 3rd down. Again, a bust here by Florida State, but this time, Nick Marshall and Auburn able to take advantage of it and get the ball into the end zone.
When you're merging onto U.S., cover your ears. You want a truck that helps keep the outside out.
Chevy Silverado delivers a quiet cabin that's second to nobody in its class. And by nobody, I mean Ram and Ford.
Put Silverado to the test. That's Silverado versus all.
Now, current GM owners trade up to the Silverado All-Star V6 for a total value of $5,000. See your local Chevy dealer.
This is the Quicksilver Cashback card from Capital One. It's not the fumbling around with rotating categories card. It's not the getting blindsided by limits card. It's the no game playing, no earning limit having, keep bomb throwing, give me the ball and I'll take it to the house cashback card. This is the Quicksilver Cash card from Capital One. Unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, everywhere, every single day. So let me ask you, what's in your wallet?
Using cloud technology and telemedicine, Verizon innovators are helping doctors care for patients remotely. So a kid has every chance in the world
The good news is,
no matter where she lives.
we can fix it.
Because the world's biggest challenges deserve even bigger solutions. Powerful answers. Verizon.
And a story for the first time since September 28th against Boston College, or 583 minutes, 42 seconds. Florida State trails. That's right. They went 9.5 games. They actually caught the Eagles at the very end of the first half in that game with a long pass to Shaw from Jameis Winston. So one thing that Auburn said they were going to do, we're going to hit the Noles in the mouth, and we're going to see how they respond. And here we are. Whitfield going to take a knee, and it'll be up to Jameis Winston and the attack from the 25.
Yeah, this is a very big drive for Winston and Jimbo Fisher, maintaining their poise and their patience with their play calling. You know, you go back to what Nick Marshall and Auburn is doing. You say they're throwing a little bit more than we expect. I think what they've adjusted and Gus Malzahn has adjusted to is Jeremy Pruitt's defense selling out against that powerful running game that they had those last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, leaving themselves one-on-one in coverage, and Auburn's going to have to execute in their pass game tonight. They knew that coming in.
Freeman is the running back alongside Jameis. Freeman was able to battle through that first defender. Gabe Wright was there along with Ladarius Owens, and this defensive front starting to get a little pressure.
The equalizer for Auburn in tonight's game has got to be the defensive line, because Florida State can run the football so well, they can throw the ball so well. If you'd like to keep two safeties back in coverage, it means your defensive line and linebackers have to hold up against the run, and you need penetration like that from Gabe Wright.
And here comes Winston on an option, and he is brought down by Casanova McKenzie. It's interesting that O'Leary, the tight end for the Noles, has improved so much as a blocker. They actually had him take on Ford, the outstanding defensive end that time, and he did a good job. Third down now and 2.
Brent, watching from here, it still feels that Florida State is adjusting to the speed and the execution of this Auburn defensive front. They're still trying to figure out what Ellis Johnson is doing with the front and with the coverage.
Again, it's Winston under Ford pressure, and down he goes with a sack. This was the game plan, Herbie, that Ellis told us about. We've got to get Winston on his back.
Yeah, they get him to third down, and this is where they're so confident. We talked about it the first series, how important it is for their defensive ends. He's right here. He doesn't bite on that at all. In fact, he gets in there so quickly, Jameis Winston did not have a chance either to throw it to O'Leary or dump it down to his back. Perfect execution, well-prepared Auburn defense there on third down.
Remember now, Chris Davis is back on this punt. He just had a 22-yard return to set up the first touchdown for Auburn. They ran into Beatty. There's the flag. If it's running into the punter, it won't be enough to give him a first down. But if it's a personal foul, it'll be automatic.
Personal foul.
Yeah.
Roughing the kicker. Defense from the 23. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That was young Jonathan Ford being talked to by the coaches. He will rough the punter here and commit the personal foul. You can take a look at it.
Comes
right there.
Comes right up the middle. Brent tries to put his right hand there, tries to hit his spot, but he runs right into him and roughs him. And this, it'd be interesting to see how this drive finishes. But an error like that, with the momentum clearly favoring Auburn, now you give the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in Florida State another chance to continue this drive.
Jimbo Fisher's going to have to adjust some things because Jameis has gone down on 2 third-down sacks. Williams slips out of the backfield. Here with the reception, and he was nailed by Threese. I mean, I'm telling you, Robinson, Threese, this is a different kind of team than what Florida State faced in the ACC. There is no doubt about this.
It's just so much more athletic, of course. But I think, you know, what do you do if you're Jimbo Fisher? Is you've got to challenge your offensive line. You can call any play you want, but if you're losing the battle in the trenches to a better defensive line and an defensive line that's more athletic and getting penetration, it doesn't really matter whether you run or whether you throw. The offensive line ultimately has to take this game over for Winston.
And he'll run into a gap, and the linebackers close quickly. Chris Frost bringing him down, number 17.
You also have an Auburn defense fans has had to hear for 30 days how inept they've been this year, how they've been the Achilles heel, how they've been the weakness. It's amazing in these BCS years what we've seen with teams that here for 30 or 40 days, how they've been that weakness and how it motivates them collectively. In the early going, this Auburn defense is playing with a major chip on its shoulder.
Jimbo searching as we come to the end of the first quarter. Another underdog, Auburn leading. We'll be back after these messages. You're watching the Vizio BCS National Championship on ESPN.
Discover card. Hey there, I just got my bill, and I see that it includes my FICO credit score.
Yep, you get a free each month to help you avoid surprises with your credit.
Good. I hate surprises.
Surprise! At Discover, we treat you like you'd treat you. Get the IT card and see your FICO credit score.
Your mama's got nothing on me. Your daddy's got nothing on me.
Why would you ever need to eat nachos on the go? Let's say her parents came home early. That's one reason. The new grilled stuffed nacho for $1.29 at Taco Bell. Everything you love about nachos grilled up in an all-new way. Take the nachos and run.
You're saying I can get AT&T's network with a data plan and unlimited talk and text for as low as $45 a month?
$45 a month.
No annual contract?
No annual contract.
No long-term agreement?
No long-term agreement.
Really?
Really?
Okay, so what's the catch?
There is no catch.
Okay, I'm obviously getting nowhere with you. I'm gonna need to speak with a supervisor.
I am the supervisor.
Oh, finally, someone I can talk to.
It's not complicated. New smartphone plans starting at $45 a month with no annual contract. Only from AT&T.
I think there's going to be an attack on U.S. soil. On January 17. We have 18 hours. If you think you've solved the mystery, think again. What the hell is going on here? We all have our secrets. Shadow Recruit, rated PG-13.
Video walls from Prism let your team collaborate at a whole new level. Learn how. Visit us at prism.com.
And now for our last credit score challenge, let's see who can sign up more quickly. Maria, what site are you using?
CreditKarma.com.
Sandy?
Some other credit site.
Good luck.
It won't give me my score unless I enter a credit card. Yes! CreditKarma.com is free, and you don't need a credit card.
Way to go, Maria. At CreditKarma.com, you can check your credit score with no credit card needed. Log on to CreditKarma.com for your free credit score. CreditKarma.com, where free is really free.
We welcome you back to the Vizio BCS National Championship on ESPN. Brent Musburger with Kirk Herbstreit, Heather Cox, and Tom Rinaldi. Auburn leading Florida State 7-3. We open the second quarter with a third down for Florida State, and they need 9 yards. O'Leary trying to slip out. Winston goes the other side, and it was deflected by Davis. Davis on Green knocked it down.
Auburn right now getting pressure. They blitz. They leave their corners on an island, and Chris Davis gets physical. Eyes on the football, knocks it away. And I'll tell you right now, Mency on one side, Chris Davis on the other, holding up very, very well in man-to-man coverage. And at this point, Florida State now 1 of 5 on third down.
Beware of a team when everybody says they can't do something. They could not stop Kelvin Benjamin. He hasn't caught a pass in this game. Davis is back deep on this 4th and 9 punt again. And remember, they roughed the punter the last time, and that gave Florida State a fresh set of downs, and Jameis Winston unable to do anything with it. So from behind Beatty, Davis is now standing back on the Auburn 17-yard line. So they're going to flip field position after that penalty, if nothing else. Booms hit high. Fair catch by Davis at the 15-yard line, and that's where Auburn will go to work. Leading 7-3. We'll be right back to Pasadena.
What is it? Is it what she wears? How he speaks? Is it her timing? This guy's idea of a good time? Or that one time he did that? Is it because she's a woman? Come on now. How about those moves, those looks, his style? Is it because they scare us, surprise us, make us uncomfortable? Like, really uncomfortable? Whatever it is, you know it when you see it. Here's to being one of a kind.
We're gonna be late.
Oh, are we early?
Commute your way with the bold, all-new Nissan Rogue.
I was given life 200 years ago.
We will tear this monster apart and unleash the forces of darkness. This ends tonight.
I, Frankenstein, rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX 3D.
Good thing Dish offered us this iPad with a hopper so we can watch all our live and recorded TV anywhere.
Next, is your kitchen deadly? Not as deadly as under your bed.
Only Dish offers you an iPad 2 free when you sign up for Dish in the Hopper. Call 1-800-WATCH-TV today.
Okay, why? Wait a second. Huh. Thanks. Huh. Thanks. Ooh, let me get this for you. Boom.
Huh. Thanks.
Yep.
The ultra-intuitive Vizio M-Series Smart TV with Netflix. It's beautifully simple.
Well, the DirecTV mobile studio has traveled the country throughout this college football season, and it's with us here in Pasadena for the championship game. Offensive coordinator for Gus Malzahn is Rhett Lashley. Lashley's a story. He was a quarterback in high school, and if you think that Gus Malzahn only runs, think again. Lashley threw 71 passes in 2 games for him. Now, notice how they separate on the sideline. That's a story. Gus likes to get closer to the line of scrimmage. Lashley likes to watch the safeties. That's how they set up. First down and 10. Breaking free is Mason. And he wants a penalty, Herbie.
I think the ball came out there as he went down, and he's saying he was down. He breaks free, and this is what Auburn wants to be able to do. Boy, it's going to be very close. I'm sure they're going to take another look at that, Brent. As he goes down, the ball comes out. It looks like his backside is, in fact, down.
So certainly upstairs here, Tom Herbert, our fine replay official, taking a quick look at it. Again, this is a Big Ten officiating crew.
There's enough evidence in those replays to show them that he, in fact, is down. Let's move on.
Let me tell you about Tom. He makes quick decisions, but that time he wanted one more look.
At the last second.
I tell you, he got it down there and said, "Hold on here, John. Let's take another look at this, okay?"
And a bigger story for Jimbo Fisher's defense. That's the first time Trey Mason has popped through.
The ruling on the field was the ball came loose before the runner was down before the ball came out. That ruling is under further review.
We've seen Auburn do so many different things. You can see the big fullback coming through, leading the way, but it's the offensive line. Remember, this offense is built on deception. They want to get you thinking about a lot of different things and making you defend a lot of different areas, and you get so caught up in Nick Marshall and his throwing, you forget about Nick Marshall and those responsibilities, and he can pop one. I think he's down.
Left thigh was down.
Yeah, I think he's down.
No question about it.
Yeah.
So there are several problems looming here for the Seminoles.
Is confirmed. First down.
So it's a first down, and Herbie, you made the point that that was indeed Mason's best run of the night.
Yeah, and when you get Mason going up the middle, remember 304 yards rushing against Missouri in the SEC championship game, but when you get him established up the middle, boy, it can do so many different things. Getting the ball out to the edge with their option attack, setting up play action, because it affects the linebackers and the safeties having to respect the inside run.
Reese Dismukes is the ringleader of this offensive line. He's an outstanding center. And he brings Marshall up to the line, and they pitch it to the outside, and nothing doing as Corey Grant was taken down by Brooks.
And Florida State was determined coming into this game. They might give up some plays up the middle, but they do not want to give up plays to the outside. They don't want to get outflanked. Nice job by Brooks being in position and then making the open play in space.
And now there is a penalty flag.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, 20, defense, 15 yards from the end of the line, automatic first down.
That's LaMarcus Joyner, one of their leaders.
And Brent, he took a wide receiver from Auburn all the way to the sideline, and he's a leader. He's got to be very careful. Look at the top, right in here in the middle. He starts to take a swing there. They're out of bounds. A little bit of a push, a little bit of a flop by Reed, but I think it may have been called even before Reed went down there towards the end.
Corey Grant stays in. They sometimes motion him, as they do here. Play action, fire wide open in the middle. In a foot race is Melvin Ray. Touchdown, Auburn. A 50-yard strike. And again, Gus Malzahn has found a wide open middle against Jimbo Fisher's Florida State Seminoles.
The linebackers are getting lulled to sleep with all the different looks and the quick huddles, and all of a sudden you have it moved back and Corey Grant in, and they've been hearing about it for 30 days. Okay, when 20 comes in, you got to expect a jet sweep. Look for the jet sweep. They got lulled to sleep. Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley break a tendency, and they get the ball behind the coverage to Melvin Ray.
Cody Parkey tacks on the extra point. 85 yards. 3 plays for Auburn of the SEC.
And Corey Grant is right here for 30 days. They've heard when 20 comes in, get ready for this and get ready for the running game. Here's Ray who gets behind him, but watch the Florida State linebackers. They get lulled to sleep right here. They're so caught up in the running game, they lose track of what can happen behind them, and that's an easy throw from Nick Marshall. Well executed for the Auburn Tiger offense, and they right now have this Noles defense on its heels and confused.
Some folks who love the favorite, they're a little uneasy right now.
Don't let lousy finger foods and snacks ruin your party. Have the experts at O'Hare Party Repair replace those faulty finger foods with snacks guaranteed to make your guests happy. Our party technicians are certified Tostitos fajita scoops installers. These chips have red peppers you can actually see. No wonder they taste like fajitas. We'll even install a jar of new delicious and cheesy queso blanco dip. Plus a speaker dancer. Absolutely free. Call 855-94-PARTY. That's 855-94-PARTY. Bring the party.
This guy's a pro, Herbie.
There's no doubt about it, Brent. A real gatekeeper.
Here's Kevin in the Nissan Sentra. Lamb to the slot.
That's right, Brent. Mom's baked cookies, but he'll be lucky to make it inside.
And here's the play. Ooh, Dad did not see this coming.
Now, if Kevin can just seize the opportunity.
It's looking good, Herbie. He's seen it. It's all over. Nothing but daylight. Yes, I love a cookie.
Make a powerful first impression. The Nissan Sentra.
This is the Quicksilver Cashback card from Capital One. It's not the juggle a bunch of rotating categories card. It's not the sign up for rewards each quarter card. It's the no games, no messing around, no earning limit having, do I look like I'm joking, turbo boosting heavyweight champion of the world cashback card. This is the Quicksilver Cashback card from Capital One. Unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, everywhere, every single day. Now tell me, what's in your wallet?
So what's better, bigger or smaller?
Bigger!
Now, let's say a friend invites you over and they have a really big, really fun pool. And then another friend invites you over who has a much smaller, less fun pool. Which pool would you rather go to?
Does the big pool have piranhas?
I believe so.
Does it have a dinosaur that can turn into a robot and chop the water like a karate ninja?
Yeah. Why would it not?
It's not complicated. Bigger is better, and AT&T now covers more than 99% of all Americans.
The 2014 Vizio BCS National Championship is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind. Tostitos Chips and Dips, bring the party. Capital One Bank, official partner of the BCS. AT&T, rethink possible. And Nissan and the all-new Rogue. Nissan, innovation that excites.
The BCS from 2003 to 2006, Mac Brown, right here on this stadium at Vince Young in Texas. And perhaps the best game of the BCS era, beating USC and Pete Carroll. Whitfield is back deep. And he's going to come out to the 21-yard line.
You know, the average margin of victory for this Florida State team is 42 points. It's one thing to be kind of that it quarterback when things are going well. You won the Heisman as a freshman. Now is when you need to step up and be a leader, challenge that offensive line, get them to help you. Obviously a long way to go, but this is when we really find out about who Jameis Winston is as a competitor and a leader of this team.
Backup rushmen on the field for Auburn. They continue to rotate, and they've got some talented freshmen on this team. First down, Winston fires for Shaw, incomplete, and the safety was coming over. He basically threw the double coverage, and Therese was right there. So there is the offensive line led by Stork, Matthias and Jackson, Hart and Irving. Each of these fellas won some kind of a postseason honor in the ACC or nationally. Stork, of course, the Remington winner, and Irving was voted the best lineman in the ACC. So it is second down and 10. Showing pressure. They back out of it. Four-man rush. Winston high and incomplete. They got what they wanted, and it's third down and 10, and the freshman is struggling.
The last play, they disguised pressure and brought it, and he struggled to be able to throw with accuracy. This time they get him, they put a lot of pressure on him, and then they drop back. They're doing such a good job of mixing it up. You know, the last 9 attempts that he has, 1 of 7 with 2 sacks.
Now Ford back in. D. Ford in the stand-up in position on the left side as they shift and they draw a false start. They pick up 5 more yards.
Offense number 35.
Just a basic shift. And the team that is rusty and not playing well at all is the big favorite, Florida State.
There's Nick O'Leary, the big tight end. A miscue for Florida State. You and I have called a lot of games in this stadium. There are so many Auburn fans at that end of the field. You'd think we're at Jordan Hare. It is loud and difficult to communicate for Florida State's offensive line, and I think it's adding to the confusion of what they're dealing with as an offense.
Third down and 15. Williams and Freeman are in as the running backs. Going to run Freeman on a sweep. Big hole, but he's down short of the first down at the 26-yard line. Ryan White, a senior safety from Tallahassee.
Cannot say it enough what a job Ellis Johnson and this defense have done with the scheme that they've brought into the game. Very, very aggressive with the way they're playing. The talented group of wide receivers, so far a non-factor in this game. It's easy to point the finger to Jameis Winston, but his teammates up front with the offensive line and the receivers also being challenged by this Auburn defense.
So Auburn came in with the intent to make Florida State play in the fourth quarter. That might happen. They said the Florida State thinks this game is a 3-quarter game. We're going to make them play the entire distance. And they're delivering a message here early with a 14-3 lead. It's all Tigers here in Pasadena.
This guy's a pro, Herbie.
There's no doubt about it, Brent. A real gatekeeper.
Here's Kevin into Nissan Sentra. Lamb to the slot.
That's right, Brent. Mom's baked cookies, but he'll be lucky to make it inside.
And here's the play. Ooh, Dad did not see this coming.
Now if Kevin can just seize the opportunity.
It's looking good, Herbie. He's seen it. It's all over. Nothing but daylight. Yes, I love a cookie.
Make a powerful first impression. The Nissan Sentra.
I'm your tailgate grill. Your buddy was in such a rush to get into the game, he didn't quite put me out. I see you bought the industrial-sized bottle of lighter fluid. Smart. And if you got cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get an Allstate agent and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Good boy.
Victor needs his money. Where's your dignity?
Gamblers are just different. For us, the future always looks bright. Because a losing hand just might lead to a better hand. That is why I'm a lawyer.
May I once again object to this witch hunt?
You may not.
This is what happens to decent Americans.
No, it isn't.
$5,300.
I don't have it.
This is what I get for playing with another lawyer.
Open.
Did you selflessly donate your favorite shirt to somebody whose wife will let him wear it in public? Donations can be tax deductions, and TurboTax gets you every deduction you deserve. Intuit TurboTax. It's amazing what you're capable of.
For diarrhea, you take Kaopectate. But for heartburn, gas, indigestion, upset stomach, or nausea, you also take Kaopectate. Kaopectate relieves diarrhea and soothes your stomach for relief of all those symptoms. Kaopectate, one and done.
This year's AT&T All-America Player of the Year is A.J. McCarron of Alabama. On behalf of AT&T, we'd like to congratulate A.J. and thank all the college football fans out there who voted. The AT&T All-America Player of the Year is determined by the fans' vote. Back to Brett Kirk.
A.J. McCarron, of course, won the last 2 national championships with Alabama. But he felt the sting of Auburn in the Iron Bowl. And now it is 1st and 10 for the Tigers, who are growling here in Pasadena. Mason back in as the running back. Marshall keeps it, and Edwards hits him immediately for a loss. Edwards beat his man, read it perfectly.
And the defensive ends against this offensive attack have to deal with so much, whether you're being read in this case, or you've got a guard pulling around, or you have an H-back that might seal you. Great job of coming down and attacking the quarterback that time by the big sophomore Mario Edwards.
Marshall is 6 of 9 throwing so far for over 100 yards. Prosh is his tough fullback off to the left. Draw play with Mason. Right side. Daylight. Midfield. First down, Auburn.
Just not used to seeing Florida State missing tackles in the open field. A good block. How about these receivers, the way they block downfield? Sammy Coates, great effort that time on P.J. Williams, but a missed tackle by the freshman Jalen Ramsey gave him the first.
Ready to go again. Marshall keeps it. He finds a crease behind the right side of his offensive line. A good first down run. Jalen Ramsey, the freshman, forced to make the stop. Auburn is dominating at both ends, offensively and defensively in this game. You would think they are the double-digit favorite in this game and not Florida State. Malzahn has never coached out of a press box. As an offensive coordinator or a high school coach, he never, ever went upstairs. He doesn't know what it's like up there in a coach's booth. Play action. Fires too high and incomplete, and his receiver was covered that time. And he was looking back at Uzama.
Interesting, you brought up earlier Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley. One at the line of scrimmage, and that's Gus Malzahn on the far left. I guess Beyonce is getting involved here with Jay-Z on this call. And then down the field about 15, 20 yards, you have Lashley, the offensive coordinator. And every time his quarterback looks over to the head coach is talking to the coordinator and saying, what are you seeing in coverage? They're communicating and then eventually getting the call back out to Nick Marshall.
3rd down and 2. Marshall keeps it. An easy first down. And he's pushed out of bounds hard on that far side by Darby.
Look at the guys in the backfield. Prosh here and also Fultz. They lead the end. They get around the edge. Reed there, pull it to the outside. And now you've got two lead blockers leading Marshall around the edge. This is something they had a lot of success with against Missouri and Alabama late in the year by having those two big H-backs out there. It puts so much on a defense to avoid being outflanked and having too many numbers to have to account for.
And our injured players that know, but I want to go back and talk about the combination. It's a very interesting story, Herbie, that you bring up. Is Lashley, there he is on the left, the offense quarterback, but there he is on the right as a quarterback at Shiloh Christian High School in Arkansas. And they have maintained a friendship ever since. So last year, Gus Malzahn goes to Arkansas State. He's the head coach. Now he hires Lashley as his offensive coordinator, and they've got their first game against Oregon. He sends Lashley upstairs to the box. The Ducks jump on him. Gets on a headset, and Gus said, Brett, get down here and get down here fast and straighten this out. So Lashley came out of the box, down to the sideline. Of course, they couldn't catch Oregon. Oregon had a very good team. But he's been on the sideline ever since. And remember, when they call plays, he goes to look at the safeties, and Gus wants to be behind to see what's happening with his offense. So they work perfectly together. First down and 10. Here comes Mason. A punishing runner, Herbie. When I looked at the tape of the Missouri game, I just couldn't believe that he rushed for better than 300 yards. We had seen that Missouri defense. That's pretty good.
Their style played right into the hands of what Auburn wanted to do, but he has such patience. Good low center gravity, lateral quickness, fits perfectly into Gus Malzahn's offense and what they try to do, and I think complements Nick Marshall and his quickness to the edge very, very well.
And oh, by the way, he carried it 46 times. Marshall keeps it, runs away from Edwards, who catches him from behind, and that stopped him from picking up the first down. So it's third down and short.
And Edwards has just been a different player this year. Last year he came in one of the most highly touted defensive players coming out of high school football, but he was in and he was overweight and had to sit behind some very talented defensive ends. You know, he went from 305 down to about 275 this year and has made such a difference by dropping the weight and playing with so much more quickness there off the edge for the Noles.
So defensive coordinator Pruitt is allowed to sub the Noles because Auburn brought substitutions onto the field. When you work against the hurry-up, that's what you look for. And Mason batters straight ahead. Jernigan, one of the best interior linemen of the country, Timothy Jernigan, is right there. But again, they move the chains.
Here comes the hurry up. You're getting caught up in the running game. Sammy Coates is alone up at the top. They love him when he gets in one-on-one coverage. He's up against P.J. Williams.
Lewis, the motion, and there was a flag prior to the snap. The line judge coming over to tell John O'Neill what the problem is here.
Encroachment, #1 offense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And that is Reed, wide receiver, guilty on that play. So that'll make it first and 15, and the ball will be brought back to about the 27-yard line.
This Auburn offense, #1 in the nation coming in as far as their ability to run the football. And tonight it's been a much more balanced attack. We're seeing Marshall throw the ball as we've seen earlier this year when teams have loaded up against the run.
There's Mason on that draw. So it'll be second down and long. Terrence Smith, and we haven't mentioned these linebackers' names very often here so far. Kelvin Smith, Terrence Smith, Christian Jones. They've had a little bit of a difficult time out here against this pace and this punishing running game, and some of these linemen have been getting to the second level on it.
And you see Florida State's defensive linemen hands on their hips. This is the 10th play of this drive against tempo. It really can affect the defensive linemen and how well they play up front.
This is huge from a Nole situation. Down already 14-3. Marshall far side, incomplete, and this will be 3rd down and long. They are within field goal range.
Brent, that was a miscommunication with Sammy Coates in the quarterback in reading coverage and adjusting your route based on what you're seeing. He sees the man, but what he doesn't see, Coates, is a safety over top. There's no way the quarterback's going to throw that with Jalen Ramsey there at the end coming into the picture, sitting back there. So he tried to throw it underneath, and Coates ended up not reading the coverage the correct way.
Man, they need to reach the 13-yard line here for a 1st down. Marshall runs away from the pressure on the move. Now he's got to keep it. He knew he was across that scrimmage line, and this will set up a field goal attempt. And so here comes Cody Parkey.
This time they hit him actually with a big play through the middle of the defense against cover 2. That time Nate Andrews took it away. Remember, Auburn hit a big throw there. They forced Marshall to try to come up with a scramble to try to have to pick up the 1st down. Good pressure by Jones, and eventually they force him out of bounds.
There was hesitation on that far side. You don't think he would attempt a fake here, do you? It is 4th down and 3. White is the holder for Cody Parkey. And by the way, his high school snapper from Jupiter, he's the snapper for the other team, Florida State, tonight. So here's Parkey. Uh-oh, outside. Misses the 33-yard attempt. No good.
He's now 14 of 20 on the year, and Florida State catches a break. Something that they need to try to change the complexion of the football game.
Slid it to the right. You're watching the Vizio BCS National Championship on ESPN.
Using cloud technology and telemedicine, Verizon innovators are helping doctors care for patients remotely. So a kid has every chance in the world.
The good news is,
no matter where she lives.
we can fix it.
Because the world's biggest challenges deserve even bigger solutions. Powerful answers. Verizon.
We're gonna be late.
Oh, are we early?
Commute your way with the bold, all-new Nissan Rogue.
I don't go home, you don't go home. America's top critics are praising Lone Survivor. It's the most extraordinary war film since Saving Private Ryan. A powerhouse film.
You can die for your country. I'm gonna live for mine.
Lone Survivor, rated R.
Bringing popcorn to game day is like going for a tie. Nobody wins. Introducing Taco Bell's Variety Taco 12-pack. 6 Doritos Locos Tacos and 6 Classic Crunchy Tacos. A game day tradition since right now.
Auburn over Florida State. The Noles have been held to 78 yards here in the first half. Freeman with the handoff on 1st down, trying to make it 9. Jimbo Fisher is searching for anything, Herbie, to get a long touchdown drive here.
And I think the thing that we've talked about from the first time they had the ball is a combination of Ellis Johnson calling a great game defensively for Auburn, and Auburn's defensive line, and the confusion whipping the Noles up front in the trenches. Here they are again, moving late.
In trouble. Fumble. Loose ball. Battle for it. Auburn says they've got it, and they do. Winston turns it over. It's a meltdown by the #1 team in the country. Forced that fumble that time was Bradley. Ben Bradley and Angelo Blackson were on the field. Backups.
We just talked about how they're getting beat up front, Brent, and because of the confusion. Both guys involved there, the ball clearly out, recovered there by the linebacker, Anthony Swain, who was coming on the blitz. But as we were talking there, I was talking about the late movement by the defensive line and linebackers, again, affecting the continuity and the chemistry and the communication with that Florida State offensive line.
First down and 10. Mason picks his way to the 25-yard line. Goldman with the stop.
Go back to that play. It looks like a four-man front, and then all of a sudden they end up moving and shifting right before the ball snapped. The linebacker, Anthony Swain, walks up over the B-gap. They show pressure, and they bring it. And again, they got to him that time.
Straight ahead, and this will bring up a third down short of the 20-yard line. Remember, just moments ago now, Auburn missed a field goal. And now they've got it back. Gus Malzahn doesn't want to settle for another field goal right now. But he's got a big third down for Nick Marshall as Winston attempts to figure it out here on the near side.
Constantly changing their personnel groupings, formations, forcing Florida State to communicate and try to stay on par with the different personnel groups coming in.
Marshall. Great grab here by Bray. Picks up the first down. Marshall continues to impress with the ball in the air. He's the best thrower of the night, not the Heisman Trophy winner.
And how about the catch that time by Quan Bray, who's been a really nice slot receiver for this offense. But look how open he is. It's a great throw by Nick Marshall, but a better design by Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley to get him open in the flat there on third down.
Terrific performance by these two offensive guards, Slade and Kozan, holding the fort. Mason picks his way behind them down to the 5-yard line on that first down.
There's the patience and that lateral cut right there. He doesn't lose any of his acceleration.
Coming back with the quarterback, and he crosses the 5-yard line. So here comes your third down.
When Marshall and Auburn, if they have had such success on 1st and 10. With this offense, if their big part of being successful is getting to 2nd and 5 and 2nd and 3, and that's where they've lived here these last few series. Confusion again for Florida State. Who to get on, who to get off. Look at him.
Here comes Power. Fultz is the tight end, number 11. They're going to run away from him. No, Marshall keeps it as he did against Missouri. And he walks in. Who amongst you thought that Auburn could perhaps blow Florida State out? I don't know anybody who thought that was possible. This is a great performance by athletes and a coaching staff. Now Parkey settles his nerves after missing that field goal. Got it right back on the Winston turnover that set this up.
That's right. You got to go back to an opportunity presented by this Auburn defense. They've been playing well all night. They got pressure. They brought it late. Jameis Winston, that offensive line confused. Winston trying to make something happen. The ball comes out. Those Tigers, that Tiger defense is all over it. And then it sets up Nick Marshall in this offense. And you get so concerned with the interior run. And all he does is read it and then follow those two big H-backs to the outside and then has the speed to outrun Kelvin Smith to get to the corner of the end zone, and they are up 21-3.
Now Gus Malzahn celebrating still another touchdown. He likes to say, boom. And that's exactly what happened. Let's go down to Tom Rinaldi.
That's not only what he said. Seeing his players come off, he said repeatedly after that drive, we're better than they are. We're better than them. Exhorting his team to continue to press the foot on the pedal. Brent?
Tom, I can hear behind you, SEC, SEC. looking for their 8th straight championship. And how about the state of Alabama? How about that? They would have 5 of them. 3 for the Tide and 2 for the Tigers. But we still got a long way to go. There's still a lot of talent out here, so hang on now. Whitfield looking to give him a spark, and he's dangerous on the return. 25, 30, and slipped.
Brad, I'm glad you brought that up because it's 21-3, and people in the South and down in the SEC are excited because of what Auburn's doing. But this is still a Florida State team that has the ability to strike and strike quickly. But somebody, whether it's the quarterback Winston, the offensive line, they've got to come together as a group and realize there's so much football to still be played. They get the ball to start the second half, but it starts with just getting a first down and reestablishing some confidence.
Most talented defensive front by far. They are forcing one mistake after another against the Noles.
Number 75, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And they're still in that area of the stadium where the crowd's affecting. That time it's the left tackle, Cameron Irving, who jumps a little bit too early.
Heather Cox told us that they were tinkering with the silent count for a while. And that's not working out too well. They come back with a running play with Williams, a converted safety. And Williams is out to the 35-yard line.
We've talked so much about the athletic ability of Auburn tonight, Brent, on this side of the ball. The other thing that you've got to mention is the way they have been on the receivers from Florida State. They have 16 yards after the catch. That's an area that they have made a living this year against defenses.
And Jimbo Fisher wants to keep it on the ground with Williams to the 40-yard line, and Jake Holland, linebacker from Pelham, Alabama, brings him down. And so here comes another third down, but it is quite clear right now that Fisher wants to take it out of Winston's passing hand and see what he can do with the run game here. Now they'll have him back in the gun. And this time he will throw again. Dropped. So just when they get a receiver open, Green drops it on the cut, and that would have been a first down.
It all seems to go hand in hand in these games with so much pressure, and all of a sudden you're in uncharted territory for Florida State. You think about Winston pressing. How about the offensive line jumping at times and having an illegal procedure? The receiver as good as Rashad Green, one of the best in the country, an easy first down, the ball slips through his hands. It's mistake after mistake after mistake, and you've got to give Auburn the credit for creating the intensity in this game and forcing these miscues by Florida State.
So Davis goes back again, and Beatty punting. A fake. And they bring an end around off of it, and they're going to get a first down with Williams. So looking for something to happen, Jimbo Fisher whistles up the fake punt. And let's see if that gives his team a lift.
Brent, I'm with you. I think they're looking for something to try to spark their team. Here he is out here. This is deep in their own territory. You imagine if this did not work out, but they catch him at the right time, and Williams has the speed to get around the corner and pick up the first down. But a gutsy call there by Jimbo Fisher.
On 4th and 4. Winston now firing complete to the 47-yard line, and Rashad Green holds on that time.
And Brent, I love that he went right back to Rashad Green. He just dropped a big third down. This guy's been making plays for you all year. They give him a chance on the almost exact same route, and this time with better coverage, Green holds on to the football.
O'Leary off the sideline. So the big 4 of receivers are out there for Winston. It's a run play all the way. And he picks up the first down on that second down before Swain and wrestle the quarterback down.
This is something they've not shown a lot of, is just a quarterback run from Winston. What you have with Freeman there leading the way, picks up the Reezy, is an extra blocker and one more man for the Auburn defense to have to account for. They're a man short. Good call there, and they pick up the first down.
Ball is at the Auburn 40-yard line. Complete. And he hits wide receiver Green again. Davis with coverage.
They're getting the ball out of the hands quicker now with Winston, and it's a crossing route against that man coverage. How do you combat man-to-man? You either try to go downfield with better athletes, or you have crossers or rub routes, just trying to get those defenders who are like glue tonight away from your wide receivers. A good underneath, hard underneath cut that time by Green.
Ball at the 27-yard line. Running play with Freeman, and Frost stopped him.
Big Nick O'Leary, Brent, your guy, who's improved so much. Kind of playing that role as an H-back, leading the way. Pretty good block there, but Chris Frost, the sophomore, lowers the boom there, reminding Freeman and the Noles that they're playing an SEC defense.
Inside of a couple of minutes here in the first half. Winston in trouble. Now he throws it downfield. Deflected, incomplete. I know you were looking for a face mask, but I don't see a penalty flag out there, my friend.
I'm with
Chris
you.
Davis was back there with Ryan White.
I thought he grabbed his face mask.
Well, it's just a finger.
A finger? I mean, he almost pulled him down with a finger. I'm shocked that they didn't give that call. It's right in front of the referee, but he still tries to keep the play alive. And I'll tell you what, Brent, because his momentum was falling backwards, he didn't have much on that ball, and it was almost intercepted there by Auburn.
3rd and 8. Florida State without a touchdown in the first half, and we're down to 143. Takes off. Slips a tackler. 10, 5, out of bounds. First down and goal. Ryan White saves a touchdown on the play, but it is 1st and goal for the Noles.
They brought pressure, and there's nobody left underneath in man-to-man coverage. They lost their eyes because of the man-to-man. They lost Jameis Winston with their backs turned, running with the receivers. And Winston, for a big guy, hit 6'4", about 230 pounds, making some people miss in the open field. A big drive they score here. Remember, they get the ball to start the second half as well.
Freeman, touchdown, Florida State. What they needed, and remember what it came off. A fake punt on 4th and 4, kept it alive, and who knows, that could be a game-saving drive.
Brent, not only was it a gutsy call by Jimbo Fisher to pick up the first down, but as you can feel in this stadium, it changed the momentum of the football game after Winston ends up taking this team down and putting the ball into the end zone.
Aguayo.
That ruling is under further review.
So they're going to take another look at it here upstairs in instant replay. I didn't think watching it live that there was much of a question, but let's take another look and see and make sure that Levonte got across the plane before the knee's down.
I think it was back about 3 yards where his knee right there, but no, a little further back. I mean, it's a touchdown, but I think that's what they might be taking a look at.
So that leaves Auburn here after the extra point with 1:28 remaining in the first half.
The ruling on the previous play of touchdown is confirmed.
Jimbo continuing to coach up his freshman, who after that fake punt led his best drive of the night. Winston 6 of 15 for 62 yards. And Aguayo tacks on the extra point.
Go back to what you've been talking about, Brent. 4th and 4, look in their own territory. Carlos Williams gets just enough with his speed to the corner to pick it up. And at Jameis Winston, a big play here as they blitz him. They've had success doing that. A little stiff arm, a little move in the open field. Florida State's deep inside Auburn territory, and they capitalize. 11 plays and 66 yards, a touchdown, changes the complexion of the game. And also, Brent, it gives this young quarterback and this young offense some confidence that they can move the ball against Auburn. sigh of relief as much as anything. He's thinking, man, we've been scoring at will. We've been averaging 8 yards a play this year. They have had to work for every inch tonight in this first half.
On this return, Grant and Bray are back deep. And Corey Grant will be the near side return man. .128 remaining in the first half. It's 21-10 Auburn. This is going to be taken by Bray at the goal line. Breaks it out. Nice return to about the 28-yard line. Well, a reminder that the college football playoff is coming to ESPN next season, ushering in a new era. For the first time ever at the highest level of this sport, the top 4 teams in the country will compete in a seeded playoff to determine the national champion. College football playoff begins January 1st, 2015, only on ESPN, and one of the semifinal games will be right here in the Rose Bowl.
You always have the inside info. They're doing away with the crystal ball, right? Do you know what the trophy is going to be next year?
They've got a whole brand new trophy. Where do you see it? I can't give it away. I'm sworn to secrecy. They'd have to kill me if I told you. First down and 10. Mason is out to the 34-yard line, and he's rushed now for 89 yards. Telvin Smith making the stop.
I'm watching Gus Malzahn, and he's still in hurry-up mode. I mean, you know, they have 2 timeouts. Just about a minute to go here in the half. Let's see what he does here on this second down. No reason to think about it. You could be pretty content with an 11-point lead against this Florida State team.
Mason again. And a reminder that coming up now, stay tuned for the Buick halftime report.
Now I'm starting to wonder if the Seminoles with 3 timeouts. Looks like Jimbo Fisher also going to let this clock work its way down.
He said, make him punt. That's what the assistant coach said to Jimbo.
Second timeout charge to Florida State.
You know,
Their second.
With a quarterback and with a passing game like this, I'm a little surprised that he let it go all the way down. I think you read the lips there of the assistant. They just
so
said,
you got to call it right away.
Punt. I call it right away because
as soon as he says make him punt, you turn and say get the timeout.
Make him punt, and also who knows, with the possibility of your quarterback and your receivers, maybe they can make a play and maybe get the field goal range.
Herbie, the story of the first half is Auburn. Clearly, I mean, this is an unbelievable performance.
You always wonder with 30 days to prepare how it can affect the teams, not just the X's and O's, but the psychological approach. Auburn came in with a chip on their shoulder. Their defense has played out of their minds. If you watched them play this year, it's the best. This is the best game plan and the best they played all year and the best intensity they played with all year. Now it's only a half. You and I said at 21-3, be careful. The Noles can still get back in this game. They get a touchdown, and they're going to get the ball back to start the second half. This thing is a long way from being over.
And that fake punt, the call by Jimbo Fisher and the Noles coaching staff, enabled them to march down and score their only touchdown. Marshall going to go deep, going to go for it all. It's going to be incomplete. So Malzahn rolled the dice here. And there are 5 seconds left. Coach was the deep receiver for Marshall. Darby was right with him with coverage. And now we have the final 5 seconds.
Well, Nick Marshall does not get the credit that he probably deserves in throwing the football. We've heard a lot about that this last month. He threw for 113 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half. We knew his arm would be a factor if the Auburn team was going to move the ball and score.
Now you wonder if the Noles will go all out here on big Stephen Clark's punt. Here they come, and he gets it off. Shaw just going to let it bounce. Stay away from it. As the first half comes to an end, and folks, the first half is a story because for the first time this season, Florida State trails at halftime. Let's go down to Heather Cox.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, how did that fake punt on 4th and 4 and the ensuing touchdown change momentum and confidence for you guys?
Well, we had to. We lost momentum in the game. We had to gain it back. We had to do something to make a change. And our kids are relaxed now, and they're playing ball again. That's just a matter of going out, blocking, tackling, doing the things we do. Like I say, we're down 21-10, but I like where we're at. I mean, we got the ball coming out. We get some points. We're right back in this ball game. It ought to be a great second half.
Jimbo, thank you. Let's head over to Tom with Gus.
Heather, thanks very much. Gus up by 2 scores heading into the half. Why have you been so effective on both sides of the ball?
Well, our defense is playing lights out. We missed a couple opportunities down here. Of course, they had the fake punt right there, and it cost a touchdown. But I like where we're at. Second half, we're going to try to wear them down.
Good luck, Gus. Appreciate it. Brent?
232 yards of offense for Auburn. 156 for Florida State. 21-10 at the end of the first half here in Pasadena. Stay tuned after these messages for the Buick halftime report on ESPN.
You're saying I can get AT&T's network with a data plan and unlimited talk and text for as low as $45 a month?
$45 a month.
Wow. No annual contract?
No annual contract.
No long-term agreement?
No long-term agreement.
Really?
Really?
Okay, so what's the catch?
There is no catch.
Okay, I'm obviously getting nowhere with you. I'm gonna need to speak with the supervisor.
I am the supervisor.
Oh, finally, someone I can talk to.
It's not complicated. New smartphone plans starting at $45 a month with no annual contract. Only from AT&T.
I stood outside assessing the situation. I knew it could be rough in there, but how rough, there was no way to know for sure. Hey, guys.
Daddy, it's pink!
But hey, a new house, it's a blank canvas, and we got a great one, thanks to a really low mortgage rate from Navy Federal Credit Union. Pink? So she's a princess. You got a problem with that?
Hoorah! Hoorah! 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union.
Why do these guys shave with one of the world's best razors when they wear helmets for a living? Because the best eventually take them off. The Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Precision equipment with less tug, less pull for unrivaled comfort, even on sensitive skin. So you can go get it. Gillette, the best a man can get.
In 15 seconds, IBM Watson can analyze 200 million pages of clinical data to help researchers discover new effective treatments. Watson is helping researchers make breakthroughs. Let's build a smarter planet. In 15 seconds, IBM Watson can cross-reference the symptoms of 1 million cancer patients to help doctors design better treatments. Watson is helping doctors fight cancer. Let's build a smarter planet.
You would make me the luckiest man on the planet if you would be my wife. What does that mean?
You ready to marry my sister?
Yes.
Prove to me you got what it takes.
How do you want me to do that?
I'm gonna take you on a ride along.
How you say freeze? Freeze. Freeze.
Just shoot.
Right along.
How's it going?
Horrible.
Gradable.
You shot me.
Rated PG-13.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Bill Schaefer, co-inventor of the Splash Wash, did. He came up with the idea while watching his children play. InventHelp submitted his idea to Whammo, maker of toys like the Frisbee and Hula Hoop. To find out how InventHelp can help you try to submit your idea to companies, call for free information. Bill Schaefer made a financial gain with his invention. Bill's experience is not typical, and most inventions are not successful.
Call 800-542-6751.
Soon, Californians from Sacramento to Salinas to San Diego will have equal access to quality health insurance. Those who need financial assistance will get it, and nobody will be denied because of a pre-existing condition. Welcome to a new state of health. Welcome to Covered California. We are your health insurance marketplace. Enroll today at coveredca.com.
Product shown rated E through F.
Welcome to the Buick Halftime Report.
Well, so far at halftime, another stunning chapter in a very surprising bowl season as the double-digit underdogs from Auburn lead Florida State by 11 points. And this offense, led by the Heisman Trophy winners, so productive in their first 13 games, all of them wins, held in check tonight by an Auburn defense that was riddled by every top-flight quarterback that it faced in the SEC, from Manziel to McCarron, Mettenberger, Murray, and James Franklin. So we turn to our guest analyst, Nick Saban. What is this Auburn defense that was pulled apart at times this year doing so well so far against Winston?
Well, you know, the first thing they're doing is they're challenging the receivers. I mean, they're up on them, covering them, they're jamming them. They're doing a nice job in man-to-man. You know, it's forcing the quarterback to have to make better throws, and he hasn't been able to get right on target. That last drive, you know, they had a little rhythm. They haven't had any rhythm on offense. I think Florida State's got to try to run the ball and take a little pressure off the quarterback. That might help them out a little bit.
Yeah, and I said before the game, Winston has got to be careful. He's been hit 6 times hard, and then he fumbled it 1 time.
He looks rattled, Lee.
Yeah, that's what I said. They rattle him, hit him. Even if they don't hit him, sacks, hit him, hit him. They got him.
Yeah, Coach, we knew that was the name of the game. They had to affect Winston. They came in this game saying, we need to put Winston on his back. And they started to mix up their fronts. They'll start with the 4-man front, and then they'll drop a 5th man down. They really played mind games with Jameis Winston in the first half. Not only Jameis Winston, but his offensive line, they struggled. But, Coach, you hit the nail on the head. The defensive backs are out there competing with those wide receivers.
2 of 8 on 3rd down for the Noles, 8 of 12 on 3rd down for the Auburn Tigers, including this little swing pass on the 3rd and 9. 2 very short touchdown drives sandwiched around an 85-yarder. Back after this.
This is the Buick Halftime Report.
Okay, here comes the airplane. Okay, here's choo-choo. Check it, check it, check it, check it. Okay.
Let me give it a shot.
Great.
Wonder where you got that idea.
Like father, like son.
259 horsepower, available all-wheel drive. Yeah, it flies. Introducing the new Regal from Buick.
Get great gifts from the person who knows you best. You. That's powerful. Verizon.
Hey, appreciate it, man. I'm a big fan.
Me too.
This one goes out to a couple friends of mine.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
This is an academic experience where great minds thrive.
This is affordable, innovative, and beautiful housing for families.